bands that I liked growing up, Yardbirds, The Animals, Clapton, John Mayall, Fleetwood Mac specifically. I love Fleetwood Mac, Peter Green, Jeremy Spencer, John and Mick, That was just like, that was the door that opened my life, when I first heard them. And my parents used to listen to B.B. King and Nat King Cole and Dinah Washington and Ray Charles, a lot of Ray Charles. And so I just kind of got into that. I like that stuff, And my mom gave me my first B.B. King album when I was an early teen, here. Oh, wow, this is just great, so. And then, you start playing, and then we left Texas. We moved to California for a while. I met some guys out there that played surf music. Cool. A whole nother world opened up. A lot of reverb, tremolo, which I use reverb and I use tremolo. I like that sound. And then I left California. I went to the East Coast, up to Maryland, Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area. Then I moved down to Florida. Then I went over to Uncle Turkey, met some guys there, and some friends of my parents. He was a sergeant in the Air Force, and I don't remember his name, but they used to have these barbecues, and this was kind of cool because it was a whole black community that my parents were invited into because that's just the way my folks were. So we got warm welcome into this community, and the sergeant saw me listen to all this blues stuff. So he made me a reel-to-reel tape of all these blues things that he had. Slim Harpo, Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, Muddy Waters, Albert King, all this stuff that he'd play at these things. And I would just sit there going like, wow, who's this? He'd go, it's Albert King. I'm going, wow, listen to that, And my dad was going, yeah, that's the real stuff, And I go like, who's this? Bo Diddley. I'm going, wow, I heard that on that. No. This is where they got it. So that's when I started learning, like, Mona didn't come from the Stones. It came from Bo Diddley, so all this stuff. And then I remember I heard Howlin' Wolf's version of Little Red Rooster. I went, wow, that's that Rolling Stones song. No, this is that guy's song that they, so that's how it comes. So that man was really influenced me because I had this reel-to-reel, and back then that's what you had. You had a reel-to-reel tape, just play it. And I used to just sit there and just listen to this stuff over and over. And my dad had Ray Charles tapes and all this stuff, and I would just listen to it, try to figure things out. I wasn't the best on the block, but I was the best in my bedroom.
Listen, people, listen well. Your baby leave you, sad story to tell. Crying won't help you. Crying won't help you when she's gone.
Then I think that there's a lot of bands, and I don't want anybody to take this out of context. I think I'm pretentious, but there's a lot of guys that play what they think that they should play, and they're afraid to stretch or grow or let it go to another direction because you're afraid. So I can play really down-home blues, play real Chicago, real Delta, do anything I want, but I've evolved into who I am. So I think a lot of British blues bands ought to let themselves just evolve. Take it somewhere else. If you were to sit and talk to Muddy Waters, he'd say, no, don't play that like me. Play it like yourself. You can't be me. But learn from me and take it somewhere else. And that's what he said to me when I was a kid. Well, I like the Chicago sound. I like James Cotton and Little Walter and Sonny Boy and all the standard guys. I was over here touring with Jay, and he was ill. We did the Gloucester Festival, put him on the plane that day. I went to London to a blues jam, and Giles was there, and I heard this playing.
I was playing a blues jam in London at the World's End in Finsbury Park, run by El Green. And it's the same jam that used to be at a place called the Weaver's Arms. And that's kind of where this scene started, I guess. And it moved to this other pub. And I was playing with a house band one night. Willie walks in and sees me playing, and after the gig he comes up and says, I really like your playing. Can we swap numbers? Because the harmonica player he was working with at the time, Hurricane Jake, unfortunately had got cancer. I was actually sent back on the plane that day when Willie came down later on. And I think Willie was a bit blown away because he walked into the place and thought, Jake's playing. And I think it was just that instant. And then since listening Jake playing, there's a similarity there. I haven't actually listened to that many players that kind of sound like me, and he did. We played a similar sort of thing. So, yeah, I got a phone call about a year later, totally out of the blue, and it was Willie saying, do you want to come on tour? And I think we played for about 4 or 5 weeks, and then went into the studio and recorded the first album. And then shortly after that tour, Willie brought me back to the States, and we went out and played at B.B. King's, at Universal Studios, and got a real feel for the thing. And it was a definite foot in the door, because all I'd done until that point was just jam sessions for years and years and years and years, just playing wherever I could.
When he first came over, when he used to live in Oxford, I think he came over to study and to get a degree. I met him then, which is probably 8 or 10 years ago. We jammed together. I was working with a different artist. We were in Oxford, and we met up. But yes, actually touring with him, it's my second tour with him. Working with Will, it's fun. It's actually, he's a very, very funny guy. I get on with him very, very well.
Just keep it fun. That's what all the blues cats did. They were just having fun. They may look like it on old DVD, but when I got to hang with some of those guys, they were jokesters, all of them. And they all have fun, and just, it's good, man.
I think as a player, I think if he respects you and respects what you're doing, then, it's usually fine. Working with him on a musical level, working with Will, it's another one of those combination things where his background is blues, but he's also coming from sort of a country type setup, more sort of Johnny Cash, Elvis. And what he's done, which is great for me, is that he's allowed me to come in and just, again, express myself. Just listening to what the music is saying to me and express myself with it, which is greatly appreciated.
Touring is just, it's part of what you do. You stay at home and play same place every week. No one's going to care, and it's going to get boring for you as well as the audiences. I like to go out and meet new people, and I'm real happy because I have friends all over the world, and I got keys to people's houses. And you know what I mean? Because of my guitars. And all I have to do is call them, come and you got a key. And now I wouldn't have met anybody without my guitar. This is open. Guitars have just opened up so many doors. I'm sitting here talking to you because of a guitar. Because I was a kid dreaming about being a guitar player. And now I'm not a kid anymore. I am in my heart. But I'm living my dream. And part of my dream is to be on the road. It's hard sometimes. You get tired of driving, and you get tired of sleeping in a rough bed, or you get tired of sleeping on the floor sometimes, or the food's cruddy, or I miss my wife, I miss my dog, I miss my cats, I miss my house. You know what I mean? I miss my street. I miss the smells in my town. I miss my mailman, who's always good to see me. He's always, and I miss just the things that are in my world, Blues to me, just feelings, and your encounters with life. You know, not so much all the time with a relationship, but just things that happen in life. You know, and it's a way to express it. And someone else asked me why I like blues so much and why I like guitar so much. I don't know. But every day I get up and I pick up my guitar, and every night I practice. And my wife said to me a million times, if I had a dime for every time I've taken a guitar off your chest and put a blanket on you downstairs, we'd be rich. Because I'll fall asleep playing, she'll come and take it off of me, put a blanket on me, leave me be, you know. And I don't know, I sometimes think, what? And I can't answer, and I don't want to know. Maybe if I knew, I'd stop. But there's something inside of me, it excites me still. Like right now, I'm getting all, it makes me, I like that guitar, I like this guitar, I like this band, I'm excited about playing tonight. And it's just, it's blues. It's a dream. But my blues have now become, I've created my own little niche, you know, in my own little world, and I'm real happy with it.